Will be directed first to Steve. How will you address the issue of the unhoused and homelessness in our city, ensuring both short-term relief and long-term solutions?
1 minute will not do this justice. Go to my website, steveforsacramento.com/plan. I put out an 8-page plan on this very subject. I was homeless as a kid on and off. I care very deeply that we help people, that we engage. Not everybody will understand, but we have to be compassionate and firm. We cannot let what's going on in our streets, enabled by our city and by others, to continue. It is not good for our families, it is not good for our businesses, for our employees, for anyone. We must intervene affirmatively. On the council, I built shelters, triage shelters, I built affordable housing, permanent supportive housing. We have an opportunity to better partner with our county, whether it's the Supervisor Cerna and his colleagues, with the staff. And right now the city wants to go its own way all the time. We're spending tens of millions of dollars that are producing very little impact. We have to revisit those things, use evidence-based interventions, and partner better with the nonprofits, the healthcare systems, and our government colleagues.
Thank you. Richard?
You know, 1 minute certainly is a very short amount of time to get into a lot of details, but I will bring a relentless focus on addressing the issue of homelessness. I think one of the frustrations people have is not that we have a lack of ideas. In fact, many ideas are often announced. It's the follow-through and being sure that we actually implement them. For example, we keep talking about we need a place for the homeless to go. The city council, for years, we're not able to identify safe-bound sites, finally punted it to the city manager. We get 120 complaints a day on 311 about things related to homelessness, and it takes 16 days on average for the city to respond to those complaints. We can do better than that. We need a more responsive city government. We need a city that cares. We need a leader of the city that cares, that's going to actually bring focus and follow through on the ideas that are brought forward and start moving the needle on this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Jose?
I think we're all failing in this, is that we're not realizing that we're simply just trying to put a Band-Aid on the problem. We're not building a community for them. One of the issues I see is that we constantly try to build housing units in some location that's nowhere near public transportation, nowhere near their medical centers, nowhere near any job training centers. And so then we as taxpayers now have to put more funding towards their transportation. Like, we're already paying for their housing, then we also have to pay for their visits to the doctor. If we created a community that was closely centralized to them within 3-block radius, they can do everything they need in that one small spot, and we can ensure that we work directly with the nonprofit groups who are already tackling these issues and bring them all collectively together. There is no need for a nonprofit to solve the problem if the nonprofit is in the business of making money. That's one of the biggest problems that I have, is that we are not holding these individuals or nonprofit organizations accountable. So one of the things I want to do is create a stronger community where they feel welcome and not ousted.
Thank you. Flo?
I lived downtown 11 years ago, and what I see today, I don't recognize. It's a tent city. And that's not what we want in Sacramento, and I'm fed up. And part of the challenge here is that our city has failed to do what's necessary to address this challenge. First and foremost, we keep trying to tell people where they can't be, but we fail to answer the simple question of where can people go? And so that's the first step. We need places, to identify places around town where certainly there is trash pickup and it's not blight on our city, but also where people can meet their human needs of having showers and laundry facilities and a place to charge their cell phones. It's also an opportunity for us to be able to triage the people who may need some additional services like substance use and mental health. And then if we do that, we absolutely have to turn off the tap so that while we're trying to clean up the flood. And for every one person we rehouse, 3 more are becoming unhoused. So we need rent control. We also need another suite of policies to make sure that people can continue to afford to live here and are supported. And that's why I'm proud to have joined 3 of my future colleagues in signing on to Sacramento Forward, a suite of policies to address this challenge. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin?
You know, this is frustrating for many people. It's the reason I decided to give it my last 4 years as your assembly member to run for mayor. Our kids are walking home from school last year from Sutter Middle School, now Miwok. The last stretch, they had to walk in the street to get home to our house. That's not acceptable. We can't have urban camping on our streets, in our parks, in our parkway. I agree with Flo, we need to do better where people can go. It's not always about money, it's about leadership and a sense of urgency. One example, 2 years ago, I got in the budget a $25 million earmark for the county to get people off of the parkway, an emergency shelter. They wanted 10, I said, here's 25. Yay. We're going on 2 years, they haven't spent 1 penny. Extremely frustrating. Too often we look for the perfect solution and not the good one right in front of us. That's why I authored the bill to allow us to use Cal Expo land. We have 100 acres down in South Sacramento, we could use those for a short period of time. We have locations around the city, just not enough urgency and leadership to make it happen today.
Thank you. And I want to thank all of you who submitted questions. As you can see, we have 7 minutes left, and we have closing statements to still occur. But please know your questions are important. There will be another mayoral forum a week from Monday down